Okay, so as you guys can see, got both door pods framed up and ready to start the glassing. Now, there's two different ways to do the glassing on these type of pods. One is to notch the actual baffles and staple them, and the other is to make up blocks. And they're actually called plugs, but use these. I'll show you how, but pretty much these plug in here, and they keep the fleece nice and tight while you're glassing it. And it also keeps the fleece from where your speaker or crossover, whatever is going to sit in, from getting glassed. So it keeps a nice edge around your baffle for what's going to be glassed. And then once you pop them out, you can actually cut the fleece and do everything else. But I'll show you that in a minute when I get ready to fleece. But just showing you all the frames are made up, so we're ready to go on all that. Okay, so this is another thing I wanted to add before I started glassing. Before you actually start glassing your door pods, very important, you want to throw it on there and make sure it'll actually close. Because I don't know how many times I've seen people do pods and not do that step. Done with the fiberglass and the finishing, painting, covering, whatever they're doing. Go put it on, and the bitch won't close by like an inch. So you just want to do that step and make sure. Mine's all torn apart, but at least you can tell it will close. And it's not hitting anything. So just wanted to add that. Alright, so I got it all fleeced up, and this is where your plugs come into play. What you're going to do is place your plugs inside of your fleece, and you're actually going to screw them down into the baffles. Now, before you do that though, make sure you wrap them in aluminum foil. If you don't wrap them in aluminum foil, you will never get them out, because odds are you're going to get a little bit of fiberglass on there, a little bit of resin, and it's going to harden up, and you're never going to get these out. So we're going to wrap all these in aluminum foil and then screw into the baffles. Alright, so we got our plugs foiled. I get them all screwed in. That's what I meant by foiling them. That way you can go ahead and glass around them, and if you get glass on them, it doesn't matter, the foil will just pop right out. Just makes it 100 times easier. So with that said, it's time to get glassing. Alright, so we're done with the resin on the felt, and this is the reason that I told you to make sure you aluminum foil these, because they pop right out. And then you have this nice piece of felt that you can just cut the ring out. So we're going to pop all these out. Alright, and that's what we got. And we got some cleaning up to do. We're going to do some cutting, but we'll cut these out, cut all the rings out, and then we'll move on to reinforcing it. This is by far close from being done, but this is just the first step. Probably one of the most important steps to do it right, but just showing you guys that. Next we'll move on to actual putting some fiberglass mat down. Okay, so this is a very, very rough cutout. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to be tidied up, but just showing you guys, that's why you do the blanks in there, because it just gives you that nice clean easy cutout, instead of otherwise you'd have to cut all this out with resin on it, and it's just a pain. So got to finish cleaning this up. I got to resin the inside, make a little bit more strength, and then I move on to fiberglass mat. So just giving you guys a shot of it so far. Alright guys, so this is the next step after the felt and resin. I've already resined the back side of it. Then you move on to long strand Bondo hair, which basically the same thing as using fiberglass mat. Short strand doesn't have as much strength as long strand, but long strand is messier, so it's kind of a trade-off, but that's why you got sanders for. But this is just the first layer of long strand. I'll probably end up doing about 3 layers of long strand just for strength, and then I'll do fiberglass mat underneath for more strength. But that's where I'm at right now. Alright guys, so this is after 3 layers of long strand. That's why it looks very nasty. That's what long strand do. It ends up looking very nasty. So get it sanded down, and then we'll start doing filler on it. to make it nice and smooth. I still, before even sand anything though, I still got to use fiberglass mat in the back to reinforce it. But that's pretty much the end of the glassing on the front. As far as strength-wise goes, now it just goes into more of looks. So that's where that's at right now. Alright, so here's the back side I've actually glassed up for extra strength. Had a few strips left, but most of it got glassed up. Just add a little bit extra strength to the back. So that's it for the strength part. I'll wait for that to dry. I might do one more layer of long strand on the top just to make it a little bit easier to sand, but as far as integrity goes, this thing's strong as a rock right now, so that's it for that. Alright, so now that all the structure is done, once again, time for a test close. Make sure it doesn't hit anything. You want to do this every step of the process. You want to make sure you do that, because there's nothing worse than getting the entire thing done and then it won't close. So yeah, it fits perfectly now. So that's that. Alright, so I gotta let this dry overnight before I can start doing any sanding. The other door panel is going to be exactly the same, so I'm not going to do a video on that. And it's kind of repetitious, but that's it for the night.